All right, number two. How you doing, Connor? This is what I thought I should do for, like if you want to do something over the weekend, we'll put a bit of effort into this one. But don't feel you have to do anything over the weekend. It's your weekend. You should take a break. So, yeah, like I said, we're going to have a look at our main enclosure. And if I just have a look at the pictures that I've got so far, this is sort of it. I'll find my glass drawer. Let's have a look. Get a pen. Alright, so what we've got is we've got this sort of tall rectangular structure here, and when I had a look at it, it's kind of, it's got a brick texture. That'll help us later on. And we've just got very small windows that look like they may have bars on them in that area there. We can use our fence that we've already made. We can just make it a lot smaller and thinner. I think these girders here, you've sort of got that same middle groove out of the middle of it, so we'll squeeze it up and reuse the fence. That'll save a lot of time. When we do this, and this is where I think we should start today, is this tall tower. So we're going to have to deal with that door. There's a viewing window of some description there. And up the top, this will be very interesting. These poles that are going to make up the area that people stand up on. And also, we'll just do some uprights. And this roof is pretty good because it's more or less hollow. Up inside there, it seems like there's not a lot. There's no flat space. We can work with that. And if you have a look at it very closely, there's actually ribs, these things here, and that could be something that's really easy to do. That'll make it look really good. So as well as that, what else do we have? There's the lights off the side here. We can throw a few lights on it. I also saw some other lights over here. I think they're lights. Those ones just there. And it could be good. We could do a night scene or something like that. But the main structure, I suppose, we'll work on. We'll just start with the tower for the moment. We'll see how far we get. So, all right, well, there's this other one here, which is very much similar. I think this might be a CG render itself. It looks like something from a game, a video game or something. These shadows are really sort of a dead giveaway. And the ground, you can see it's repeated. We're going to do some texturing eventually, and they've gone the brick as well, I think, or at least a rendered view. And you can see their bars on their window a lot better. But we'll have a look at that. We're going to be doing some trees. We're going to be doing textures. So we're going to be putting colour to it, and very simple lighting. We might try and get something rendered off today, so we got something to show for all our hard work. Anyway, let's jump back here. That was 3 minutes. We'll never get back again. Me rambling. All right. This is our scene where we left it last, and we had applied a ray modifier to our fence, and we had applied a curve modifier to our fence, given it that curve. And when we go out of edit mode into object mode, we get our curve modifier. But we're not going to use this at the moment. This is our main layer here, and what we're going to do is we're going to select both of them. I'm just going to have the fence selected, or either one selected, and go shift right click on that one there. And we're going to move this to a new layer as well. We got our base sitting down here. I'm not sure we're going to use that just looking at that. I think we might see whether or not we can start that one again. And this layer here, that's got something on it. You can see because of the dot, it's got our cap on it for our fence. So let's move it, I don't know, fairly out of the way. Let's go to this one over here. We can go Object, move to Layer, or we can press M. So we'll press M. And we'll go, we'll put it right over here. Now the best thing about these layers is we can have two layers up at once. So here's our main layer. It's got our camera. I'm also going to delete this light here. Right click on the light and press the delete key. Because it's not serving any purpose. I'll keep the camera in for the moment, but that's our main, and we can look, hold down shift and left click on that layer. Now we're looking at both. We've got the base and we've got the camera, and if we hold down shift and left click on this layer, now we've got all three things. So you can imagine we make a scene out of lots of layers. We'll have a fence layer, and we'll have a ground layer, and we'll have our enclosure layer. We'll probably have, the ground layer will probably have all the trees on it and things like that. But we can put all sorts of things, and we combine layers for our final render. But anyway, we'll jump over to our base layer. So I'll just click on that one only, left click. And now we're back to just that. Make sure our cursor's in the center. If it's not, Shift S, cursor to center. And let's add what should we add? Let's add a plane, because, and I don't want to go into it, if I add a plane, I have the floor already on the origin and it's at 0, all zeros. If I start with a cube, Control Z, and start with a cube, my floor of this cube is down below my floor plane at 0. So the first thing I'd have to do is bring my floor back up to 0, because it's nice and neat if it's there. So it's a good idea sometimes, we'll just go X on that one, or delete key to get rid of it. It's a good idea to start with a plane for a building, because your floor is right there. But, of course, that's not a building at all. It's certainly not a tower. But that's going to be what we extrude out, that face. We're going to extrude it straight up, and we're going to see our tower form out of nothing. So let's scale it up a bit. All right. Let's go S to scale. And I'm going to stick to the guidelines there. I can follow those lines a bit and go right there. So that's pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with that one. And let's go. Oh, now I've just made a bit of a mistake in that. When I did that, I changed these scale numbers. So I'm going to Control Z back again, and see the scale numbers are 1. That's what we want them all to be. You can reset them with Alt A, but it really helps later on that we don't mess around with. If we're going to change a shape, a base shape, we'll do it in edit mode. So let's go into edit mode. There's edit mode. We got our face selected. Right click if we haven't, and let's scale it in there. And now, that's excellent. Alright, so if I went back into object mode, you'd see that our scale is still 1, because we did it all in edit mode. And that was a mistake that I made very early. I'll try and work as much in edit mode as we can. Okay, so that's the face selected. Let's extrude it straight up. E to extrude, or we could go to our tools up here. There's extrude region. I'll just hit on that and go straight up. Now I'm looking off to the side here at my image. It's pretty tall. We can change the height later. The height doesn't matter too much, so I won't get all upset about that one. We can always change the height very easily in our scene. But what I'm also looking at is the shape as it goes up. So over in my picture, I've got, it goes up to about there, and then it comes out for a platform part that the people are standing on, and that's further out from this wall here. So we will extrude out, go up a little bit. We're gonna go up. We've already done that. We're gonna extrude, come out. We're gonna go up, and then we'll just close that face off. I'll show you how to close off a face. and that will be very simple. And it's good to start with really simple objects, because later on when we are cutting windows out, we don't want to have to cut too many faces. So we have one big face here to work with, and we want to keep it like that as much as possible. Up here we've got poles, and we'll deal with that. So we'll get the basic shape, then we'll take these windows out here and we'll shape this door, and we'll take this window out here, and then we'll have a look at some possible changes. I think what I might do in order to save a lot of time with these windows is we'll use a mirror modifier in this one. We're going to do half a building, and then we're going to mirror it on the other side before we cut out these holes here. We'll do the best we can. Alright, let's get rid of that and get back to our scene. Alright, let's have a look. Okay, I want to come out from here to do that platform. So I'm going to extrude, E to extrude, and come up. Always use the button if you want to. And now I need to come out. So I'm just going to let that go. I've come out a little bit there. Well, I've come up a little bit. And I want to scale this face. So I'm going to hold my curved mouse around here. I'm going to press S, and I'm just going to drag it out. That's going to give me that lip. But as you can see, it comes out, and I wanted it to come straight out, not like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to side view, which is 1 on the number pad, or you can go view, what am I? I'm front view there. You can just click on view and change to any of your views here, and it also tells you what the shortcut is. So I'm over here, and now I can move this blue arrow down perfectly so that it's perfectly flat. Well, as close as anybody's going to notice. And we've got a face over the top. When you have a look at that, can you see how we've got a little face here? And that's the bottom one there. That's that one there. But this one here, this goes all the way to the very end. So what I can do is I can just move that up. No, I can't. I have to extrude. I have to extrude that up. There we go. So now I've moved up that one face, and that's really clean modelling. We got all quads, all four-sided shapes, and that's kind of important. You like to keep that. And we've got our platform. So next thing, let's put some windows into this one. And on my picture, they're pretty close to the top. There's not far distance to the window, so we'll do it fairly about where they've got theirs, around about here. And we'll be using loop cuts, which is if we're in, make sure we're in tools and go loop cut and slide, or you can hold your cursor over it and it'll show you that loop cut and slide shortcut is Control R. And I use Control R an awful lot because you do a lot of loop cuts and slides to make faces so that you can build shapes. But I'll do a loop cut and slide here. Okay, now I'm jumping back in time because I made a big mistake and I wasted a lot of time. And you'll just be hearing me start to talk differently because that was about half an hour ago now. So this is where I'm going to pick it up, where I was back here. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a mirror modifier to our object. And we're going to do it early because otherwise we will end up spending a lot of time working on things that we don't need to work on. So to add this mirror modifier, which is going to reflect this side on the other side of the y-axis, and it's going to reflect this side on the other side of the x-axis, we have to cut our object in half that way and cut our object in half that way. Now, it's really important, I think, because I just made this big mistake, to remember to do these things when you're making your own models early, because otherwise, yeah, you can spend a lot of time wondering how you're going to fix problems. So we're going to do an edge loop cut straight through the middle. Edge loop cut right there. And we're going to click. And we want it right in the center, so right click to confirm. Best not to move it at all, but if you right click confirm, that's right through the center that way. And we're going to do another one, edge cut loop, right through the center that way. And right click to confirm. So that's right there in the middle. And now I can delete some of my model and add a mirror modifier to it. So first thing we want to do when we're deleting is we want to be able to see the back and the front. So if I was to select, let's go vertex select, and we're going to click on, I'm going to go B for box, B, and drag a big box around them. Now it selects that side, but it didn't see all the way through to this side. So if we go to wireframe view, down here next to where it says edit mode, we've got this white circle. This is our views, the way that the picture, the program shows us things. Wireframe is what we want. Now the shortcut for wireframe is, what is it? It's Z. And you can go Z back into solid and Z back into wireframe. Or Z. 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 Let's go Z. 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 We want wireframe. Now we can see what we've got selected. And I'm going to change to which view? I'm going to go front view. Depending on what you've got selected. Front 1 or 3 on your number pad. 3 is that side. I'm going to go 1. And I'm going to go again box and take in all the vertices on this side here. I'm going to do that again. I go B for box and I drag a big box down over here. Sorry about the noise, I just coughed. That is what I want. I want all those vertices right there. And I haven't selected anything in the middle because I want to keep these vertices, but I don't want anything on that side. And then I'm going to go X to delete, or the delete key to delete, and we want to get rid of vertices. And now they're gone. So we've got half a model that way. Now we're going to take off half a model this way. I'm going to get rid of, which one do I want to get rid of? It doesn't really matter, we just get rid of one side. I'm going to get rid of this side, the right hand side. So I need a perfect view. It's nice to have a perfect view. It says user view perspective. If you hit the number pad 5, it changes it to ortho. And I really like ortho because ortho, when I then press 3, I don't get, look at this, that's perspective, that's ortho. So you can change it here. You can go view. I think I might have already spoken about this because I was talking into the camera for a while. What is it? User view perspective ortho or number pad 5. So I always just hit number pad 5 until that doesn't say PERSP. It says ORTHO for ortho. And right view. Now, I'm going to get rid of all this side. So let's go mouse up here to start, B, drag it down over all of those vertices, none of the center ones. We go X to delete, and we want to get rid of vertices, and they're gone. If we got rid of faces, we could get rid of this edge, and that would delete this face, and just terrible things happen. So we're just getting rid of vertices. And you say to yourself, where has our model gone? Well, this is the purpose of this tutorial, half an hour in. Well, for me. Add modifier, and we are going to add a mirror, right there, mirror. And what happened when I added that was I got this little shaded thing. Now, if you didn't get the shaded thing, no, I think you're pretty much right. These are the settings here. If I unselect it, it disappears. So that's the X is mirrored. The Y does two of them. So I select X and Y. sometimes you'll find that it mirrors it on top of itself. But I think it's going to be okay. There's no great dramas there, it would seem. If you get stuck on this one, yeah, I think it just sort of works out what's the other side. So let's have a look at that one. Let's go back out of wireframe view into solid, and there's my shape. Now, the beauty of this is like an array modifier. What we do to this little corner here is going to happen to all of the corners. So let's put our windows in. To do our windows, we're going to do loop cuts, 2 loop cuts there, 2 loop cuts there, one loop cut, and a loop cut down there, and a loop cut down there. Now this is where I got myself into trouble last time, because when I did my loop cut, it sort of messed up my stuff under here. I'll show you what I mean. I'm okay with it, but I wish that it hadn't done it. I might try and straighten things up. It's nice to have things straight. We'll see how we go. Let's put these loop cuts in. There's our loop cut. Hold it over. There's one. Going to put that there. Remember, yeah, we're going after these windows. I hope I'm not showing you this over again twice, but going after these windows right here. So they're pretty small, and we're going to make a face here that's going to be the window. So there's one loop cut, and let's do another one. Loop cut and slide there. I'll put it there for the moment. And they're on both sides of our thing. There's one there, and we've got to do that one there as well. So let's do that. Loop cut slide. Control R is the shortcut for that. Usually I do Control R. So for the last one, I'm going to go Control R and loop cut slide. This lets me keep my mouse without having to go over to the side all the time. So there's 2 loop cuts, and now we're going to do the bottom and the top of our windows loop cut slides. So Control R, or go over and click loop cut slide, and move that up to where I want the bottom to be. Yeah, about there. And let's put another one up the top here. We'll do this with the button. Loop cut, slide. Hold it there. We don't want it down there because the windows are pretty high, so I'm going up here. That's where I want it. Okay, good. And so now I'm going to go into face select mode down here. Select the face there. And if I try and move it in, it's not going to go anywhere because I'm not moving the faces around it, but I can extrude it. So I'll do extrude with the button this time. E to extrude, move my mouse in and watch it disappear from the other side as well. So I'm doing 2 windows at once. And I'm going to do the shortcut E for this side. E and move in. Yes. Alright, we can move those further without having to extrude them later. But look at that. We got all our windows in and we only had to do 2. So, that's fantastic. It's not a bad idea at this stage to have a look at our bars because we can mirror those as well. So, we're going to add our bars to this one right here. Actually, I might move that face back a bit. I'm going to go to move, so I don't want to scale, and move it back in so I can't see. Move it back in on the red. They're crossing over inside there. I'm going to just move this back out a little bit there. And this one back out. Don't want to go too far. And you want to stay on those axes. You don't want to start moving stuff around like that. You want to be right on either the green or I think it's red here on that side. Alright, I'm going to put some bars in here. Let's put our cursor there. We want to add cylinders just nice, really simple cylinders. We're not going to put many faces on these ones. Alright, we need to put our cursor in the middle between here and here, and between here and here. So let's select those edges. Edge select down here, select that edge, hold down shift, select that edge, and move our cursor to that location, because you can move your cursor to an edge. So I could just select one and go shift S, cursor to selected, and there's my cursor there. But I can select two edges and it will find the average of the two. It'll go in between the two of them. So I'm going to go that one and that one, shift S, cursor to selected, and now you'll see it's floating right where I want to put. I'm going to press the decimal point on my number pad. Right there, where I'm going to put my cylinder. I'll scroll right in on that one. So we're very up close. Let's go, add cylinder. Create, this one. And what do we want? Cylinder. Oh, look how big that is. That has huge. So we've got to, look, it's already starting to mirror too. Look at that. Okay, we zoom right out and let's scale it in. Hold my mouse about here. S to scale. You don't have to hold it that side. You can just hold it away somewhere else. S to scale it right down. Now let's zoom in. And we want to keep scaling. Mouse about here. We can go Tools, scale there. Or we can do it this way. But like I said, when we're doing it this way, you can squeeze too much. I'm going to go scale there. And move down towards it there. Alright, nice one. Yeah, that's about the thickness I want it. Okay. It's sitting out a little bit. I'm going to move it in. Move just in a little bit, just so that it's there, because that would have had it outside there. Alright, let's scale her up. Scale. And got to do a bit on this one. Yep. Right there, and I think, what are we going to do? Let's go move, and let's go shift D to duplicate, go to about there. We can also duplicate over here, hit duplicate, and go to about there, and get my mouse back. Where'd my mouse disappear to? Here it is. I'm going to go shift D, and let's go shift D, back to here, and shift D. Oh look, they're starting to move out a bit. I'm not perfectly straight with my movements. Not too bad. A little further for that one. Shift D, and we'll leave it at that. So let's zoom out and see what we've done. I'm going to move them in a little bit. Alright, I'm just going to adjust the position of these ones. I'm going to select one. I'm on edge select. I'm going to go faces. One face, doesn't really matter. Hold my mouse over the object and go L. And on the green arrow, just move him back. Same here, L. Making sure I don't have two selected. Right click on this one, L. And I think that's okay. I just noticed when I zoomed out, see that little black line there? That annoys me. Oh, it's okay. It's fine. Alright, and it's already done on the other side too. Look at that. Perfect. Couldn't complain about that one. Then what I am complaining about is the number of, look at the number of faces we used. Oh, never mind. Can't be helped. Now we'll do this side. This side I'm going to put fewer faces on. Let's put our cursor in. Go edge select, that edge, and that edge, shift and click the second edge. Hold down shift and click. Shift S and cursor to selected. And we create our cylinder. Where's our cylinder? There she is. And I bet you it's really big. Oh yeah, it's big. Now, before I touch anything, That's the faces. I'm going to set this down. We could go slash, let's go type in 16. We always work in 16, 8s, 32s, 64s. Good numbers to work in. They're still really big, but this won't matter. Let's hold our mouse about here and S, scale it in, S, scale it in. I think that's still too big. About there. Change to scale and blue. Drag it up a whole heap. Oh, look at that. That one is hanging out there a bit, isn't it? Move it back into there. And it's about the same size? Yeah, it's about the same size. Let's go Shift D. Move it to there. Shift D. And as I move it, I'm moving it on the Y-axis. And I can press Y and it locks to the Y-axis. So I can't move it up and down. I can lock it to X and Z. I should have done that before because this is much cleaner. Shift D. Actually, I hit the duplicate. Back to Tools. And duplicate. Just to remind. It's a good idea to remind. Hit duplicate. And I'm going to press Y again because it's going to lock it to the Y. And I know I'm going in the Y because I look down there at the Y. If I'm moving that way, I'm moving in the Y. Shift D. Y. Saves me so much drama. I want to get this one here further on. I'm going to click on one of them, make sure nothing else is selected. Press L, and I can now move it in the Y by using the arrow. Okay, good. I did a lot more on one side than I did on the other. And this one seems to be poking through. Click on that one. I'm losing my perspective, so I'm going to press the decimal point on my keypad again to zoom back into where I am. I got one thing selected, right click select, and go L. And move it back in. So that's good. I'm happy with that. I could probably, for yours, feel free to make them a bit thinner or the same size as that one. And but I'm just going to keep going with this because I'm happy with it. I don't think it'll be noticeable. Still see these tiny little black things here, and I'll live over that. All right. Okay, so back at our picture. Let's have a look. Oh. Okay. I think that we're going to apply our mirror modifier because do we want a door on both sides? Let's have a look at our other picture. You can't really tell. Is there a door on the other side? I am going to have a door on the other side because that way, if I do change it later, I've still got my mirror modifier there. If I want to change these windows here, and I've applied my mirror modifier, it means that I've got to cut it all out again and mirror if I want to have this changes I make here be reflected here. If I apply this mirror modifier by pressing on that, I never get to do it again. I'll have to cut it in half and it'll be a pain in the neck. So I'm not going to apply my mirror modifier. I'm going to... I'm just going to make the door. I'm going to do another edge cut. Let's do another edge cut here. So I'm going to have a door that's going to be twice that width there. It's going to be out to here because it'll be all mirrored. So let's go edge cut loop. Now that's Control R. This one here, just always reminding. This one, let's hit it. And the height of the door, right there. Let's go there. And then, okay, now this is interesting. Watch what happens with this one. When we actually, what should I do? What should I do? I know what I should do. I should do this. Let's go another edge cut loop. I'm going to click on it edge cut loop. Going to cut here, and I'm going to move it right up close to that other one. This is going to be the top of the door frame. So this face here is going to come out like a door frame, and I can do an edge cut loop here or here. Yeah, it's a hard decision. I think I'm going to go this side, because if I do an edge cut loop this side, it's also going to cut through all of this stuff here with my window. It's going to be right over there. It's really going to annoy me. So I'm going to go this side. Door might appear a bit thin, but I'm prepared to make that sacrifice. So I'm going to go Control R for this edge cut loop. And yeah, there. So that's going to be my door frame. Yep, I like it. Let's extrude it out, because door frames, they sort of have a little rim just here. Face select. Gonna click that face, shift click that face, and shift click that face. And we are going to E to extrude, and because we're going to extrude out on that green arrow, which is the Y. So let's go E to extrude, and I think that's the Y. I don't know why it's Y. Yeah, it is the Y. I pressed Y. Now it's locked to Y. Not too far. The edge frame, they're not too big. I don't want to go too big. They're going to go small. About there. Pretty good. Okay, so that's it there. I'm going to jump into object mode and have a look. Okay, shading is interesting. Let's do something here just to... No, let's not do anything yet. Let's not do anything yet. Let's make the other cut. Back into edit mode. Edit mode. Now, looking at our picture, this is our other window right here. I'm going to cut that one out, and it's going to be fairly wide. So, that's the door. This is the side for the window. Do you know what I think we could do? We could... Ooh. What could we do? Let's put a cut here and a cut about here. Because I'm noticing in our picture, this window here is just as high as the door. So that cut for that door at the top there should be enough for our purposes. And all we need is another cut lower down here, because this cut is at about halfway to the door. So I cut about halfway up the door, about here, edge cut loop. There we go. Cut there. And now I've got this face and this face that I can use for my window. And I think, just looking at it, I think it just drops back in. There is a bit, I need to clean up what I've done here. Class eraser. There is a lip around it. We will put an edge around it, but it drops back in a fair bit, I think. So I'm going to extrude back into our shape. Let's go to face select, that, and go E, and drop it back. Now watch what happens when I do this. See that face in the middle? I'm going to let it go. I'm doing this on the X-axis. I'm looking down. Yep. I'm going to go X and just lock it to X so that it doesn't go anywhere. It's pretty good. It generally doesn't go anywhere, but it's nice to be safe. Now, this is a face. And the reason it's there is because when we extruded, there was an edge sitting right there. So what we have to do is we have to delete it. So we'll select it, just it, X to delete, and delete faces. Okay, now I'm happy. we have that face, and that face can be part of our rim around our window, but we're going to need another cut down here, and I'm happy to do that because it's not going to go through my top window, and another cut down here, and that'll just go through the door. That's fine. I'm going to go edge cut loop, and that's the face I want it on, but I want to move it right over. So one click and move it over. Yeah, about there. And edge cut loop. That's the face. One click, move it up. And now let's extrude out these faces around our rim. Face select. Face, hold down shift, and face, face. Right clicking with shift down. And we just, coming out this way, I move around a lot. I hope that doesn't, coming out this way, let's go extrude region. And move it out just a little bit. About there. Excellent, good. I'm very happy with that. So, what's next? Let's build. Let's go, let's put a roof on this. Let me think. Alright. Okie dokie. Here's an interesting idea. I look at this and I say to myself, have a look at this picture. I need my pen. I'm going to zoom right in. Actually, what's the best picture for it? No, let's do this one. Let's zoom right in on this. Now, I'm going to change back to this. Now I'm going to use my pen. Where's draw? There it is. Alright. So, this is where this pole comes up. And there is one here, and there's one on this side, and there's one on this side. So, we could build this out of our base. We could, if we wanted to, and I think we might, build these uprights straight out of that base. I'll show you. I reckon that's a pretty good idea. So, let's go back to our Blender file. And that, if there was a face right there, and I built it straight up in the air, I would have one about here, and one about here, and one about here, without having to do anything. Problem, of course, is there's just this big long face, but if I did a cut this way, I'd have a little face just there, and I could use that for my upright. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go Control R, edge cut loop. Could just go edge cut loop. Where is it? Yeah. But I'm going to go here. And now this is interesting. This is a very messy cut. This is wanting to go down. Actually, no, that's still right. That's okay. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to move it across. Yeah, that's good. Okay, it didn't look right because it was cutting in and going down, but that's not too bad. Now, if that's a hard one to do, Control Z, undo. I'll do another one. I'm going to go edge cut loop. Where is it? Edge cut loop. That's my cut along there. I'm just ignoring this squiggly line over here because that's just distorting things. And I'm going to cut there. And that's my face. So let's go face select. Select that face. I'm going to hit my decimal point on my keypad to zoom in. Can always go, was it view? Because we're viewing something. And align view, align to selected. Oh, you got to choose one. Top. There you go. Still aligns. And let's move it straight up. E, straight up. Now that's not high enough, but once I've extruded once, I don't have to extrude again. I can just move that like that. And that's pretty good. Done a lot of work without any effort. It's good. Now, next thing we want to do, let's have a look at our picture, is we want to, yeah, we've got a rim around here. And we've got uprights, and we've got our roof. And remember from our previous picture, it was more or less hollow. So let's do something with that, and let's put our rim around. It's getting a bit late. I'll call it in a moment, but we'll try and get as much done as we can because it's a weekend project. If you want to. Okay. How should I do this? I am going to put some edge cut loops in this one, and I'm going to move those edges right out to the edge where my mirror starts, and as I build it out this way, so it will come out this way on my mirror. So 2 edge cut loops in there, pretty thin because the pole coming out is itself pretty thin. So edge cut loop, and I'm just going to drop this one down to about there. We can move them later. Edge cut loop. This is going to be the top one. It's going to try and cut in the middle, but we're going to click once and then bring it down. There's my face that I'm going to extrude. I've also got another face on this side I'm going to extrude, but we'll do this one first. We can't extrude as a region this time. We just want to extrude one at a time. Otherwise they'll come out connected and we want them to split apart. E, or we could go extrude. I'm going to go E, and I'm going to go just to the end, and it'll merge automatically. And right click that one, E, merge automatically. You can cross over there because I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. And there is a merge limit. This merge limit here, if you drag up on that one, it'll merge things that if we had a face here that we had a little gap between our mirror, you can just move that number up until it disappears. If you go too high, it makes your stuff disappear, so don't go too high. When I'm moving these numbers, that's a drag. You can just click on it and drag that way, or drag that way, or drag that way, or drag that way. Keep those numbers small though, because it can mess up on you. Alright, so that's going to be my bar for the moment. I'm happy with that. Let's put a roof on. Okay, a roof. Now, first thing, that's my center. I have been very careful about making sure that my center there is that one right there. Everything's nice and clean. So let's go into that point there and put our cursor there. How am I going to do that? I'm going to go to, that's a vertex right in the corner, so I'll choose a vertex. Go to vertex, select there, select that one little vertex. Shift S, cursor to selected, and add our, what are we going to make this out of? Alright. I didn't think about this one. Let's go with a new object. Okay, this is why I'm going to do a new object on this one, because we're going to finish this off by applying a solidify modifier. Now, you've used these before when we did the cloth simulation, but this time it's going to be a lot thicker because it's not going to be cloth. So, I've got my cursor there, and that's important because it's the center. If I don't have my cursor there, the plane I add, let's go out of edit mode. We're going to stop working with this object now for the moment. And we can join our roof to it later, but we're going to stop and we're going to go back to object mode. And my cursor remains where it is. If it's not there, you can always go back into edit mode and select that face and Shift S, cursor to selected, because it moves around a lot. Every time you click over here or something, it'll move it. It's really annoying. Back into edit mode, object mode, and we're going to create a plane, and it's inside that. So let's move it up to about our roof height. Roof height is about there. Now, how am I going to make this one, I hear you ask? Well, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to... Ooh, what am I going to do? I've got to be careful. I don't want to just put a cross on it, across two edge loops and lift the middle up, because that will... It won't be a flat face on each side. What I think I need to do is I need to join up this edge and, this vertex and this vertex and this vertex and this vertex. And that will give me a nice cross, because my picture, if I just jump back to my OneNote, my picture, yeah, from the corners, it goes up. That's my edge. So, and that's the corner of the roof. I don't need that anymore. Let's go into edit mode before we start resizing things. Edit mode. Now, this is going to be confusing. I'm on vertex select. I'm going to select that vertex, and I'm going to shift collect that one. Shift right click that one. And then I'm going to have a look at my tools menu. I don't like using knives. Cut geometry along a plane. I wonder what that does. I'm going to click bisect and just test it. No, edge select. Select edges, faces required. I'm going to go face select. I'm going to select that one. I'm just experimenting here, mate. Bisect. Nope, that didn't do anything. Or it did something and I didn't want it to. I'm going to Control Z to get back. I'm going to go back to vertex select and press F. Okay, that's dissected that way, but has it cut the face? I'm going to do it this way. Select that one, shift select that one, F. I don't think this is doing what I was doing. I have to press... I'm going to try a knife cut. Alright, that's a vertex, that's a vertex, that's a vertex. I'm going to go knife, and I get a knife cursor. When I hold it over that vertex, I can click once, and that's left click once, and when it goes over there, I left click again, and now I'm going to press enter. Excellent. Alright, knives are really, that's where I got myself into trouble earlier. Knives. Okay, that was good. Knife. Hold it on so it goes red on that one. Left click once. And hold it on there. Left click again. Press enter. And there's a cut. I'm very happy with that. Now, vertex select. Select the center vertex. And move it up. There's my roof. Okay, good. Excellent. That is brilliant. Alright. Too small, Mr. Sutherland. Let's go. Hold my mouse over it and press L. L. Am I holding? Oh, maybe I can only do it in face select. L? Yes. If I had it over a vertex, I bet you it would have selected all the vertexes. But I went to face select and then hold it over and L over a face. S to scale. I'm going to do it over here. Scale. I don't like using it over there because my mouse feels weird. Look at that. Okay, good stuff. I'm going to have a look at my picture. I think we're pretty solid there. Is it too pointy? It's not big enough. Let's S to scale. Not big enough. That looks good. I'm pretty happy with that. Now what's interesting is if I have a look at my picture, zoom right in, these poles go up inside. Up in there is where they connect. So let's do that. Actually, first of all, let's do something else. I've got to be quick because it's getting late. Actually, we'll deal with that later. Let's deal with that later. We can go back into that object later because we're not working in that object. We're working in our roof. Which reminds me, let's name stuff. This is our plane 001. I don't want to call it that because I've got this plane here and I think that is this base. So you could go object properties here, the cube, orange cube, and change the number here, the name here, or object here, double click on that. I'm going to call this roof, and I'm going to call this, just make sure, yep, that is the base. We're going to call this tower, double click, tower. Excellent. Alright, now right click back on my roof. Now we're going to add our solidify modifier because it's just a flat, no dimensional plane at the moment that we've just messed with a bit. So we're going to make it thick. Let's go to our modifiers on our spanner. We've got our roof selected, not this one in here. And we're going to add our solidify. Now, let's zoom in on that one. Hold down shift and middle mouse button. It's very thin. That's wafer thin. Our thickness setting is just here. And I'm just going to click on it, hold down left click and drag to get my thickness I want. I can just drag it up and down. Sometimes if you double click it goes into the numbers, but you can just drag. That looks like a good thickness about there. Your choice on that one. I'm not really happy with the fact that this edge is higher than this edge, but I'm going to live with it for the moment because I'm not going to apply that yet. What I am going to do, because it's thick enough, is I'm going to embed the top of the poles inside that, or get as close as I can. So we're going to get out of our roof, we're going to right click on our our tower, and we're going to go into edit mode. But here's the problem, I can't see it because of the roof. So two things I could do. I could hide the roof, but if I hide the roof, I'm not going to be able to know when to stop rising on these. So let's go into wireframe. Down here, wireframe. Now I can see through everything reasonably well. I've got my tower selected, and I'm going to go to edit mode because I need to select the top of those. Edit mode. Oh, there's the one. We've only got to move one. That's the one I want to select, and I don't have to extrude because we're just moving one thing up. And that looks pretty good there. How's that look? That's going to be too high. See, that's the thickness of my roof, I think. That part there. So I'm going to make sure I don't go too high. I think that's the thickness. Yes, it is. Yes, that's the thickness. So it's inside that. I can zoom right in, hold down shift and move to the side. Right there. Nice. Zoom out. Okay, good. Now, just to make it all worthwhile, I'm not going to add materials just yet because it's getting late. But what I am going to do is I'm going to Control R. I'm going to go out of edit mode into object mode. I'm going to go out of wireframe into solid. We could go material. Oh, I don't like material. No, let's go solid. Nicer shading. And we're going to put a floor plane in just because I think we should do a render. Floor plane. It's going to be on the floor, so we need our cursor down there. Shift S, cursor to center. Right down the bottom there. We can always get it back to the center. And we're going to create a plane. Can't see it because it's underneath there, but if I go S and drag out, there she is. Let's have a look at our camera. Our camera is pointing directly down here. Now I can see my camera view. View, camera, number pad 0, so much faster. That isn't the view I want. But before I get out of here, I'm going to go and open up this. And now remember, if you don't have that one open, we hit the plus. It's always good to shut it. I always leave it open because I use it a bit, but it's good to shut. All right. And we are going to, that's the top here, lock camera to view. I'm going to click on that one, and that turned that red. Now if I want to get out of stop moving my camera, I can just press on one of the number pads and leave this view. But with it red like that, I can zoom out. I can hold down shift and middle mouse button up, zoom out, and go to there. That's a nice little shot. And we don't have any materials on this, so it's all going to be grey. We could put a material to it. I don't know. It seems like it's a bit of a waste to not put a material to it. Alright, let's do it just quickly, because we're going to add lots of materials to this, but let's just do it quickly. I'm going to right click on the tower. I'm going to go to my materials. So we're over here, my materials. We have never added material here, so if you've got one here, you can just change it or subtract or do something. But new material, we're going to call this material tower. Tower. It's always good to name materials so that it's not just material 1, material 2, material 3, otherwise you won't know what it is. Press enter, and this is where we choose our colour. So I'm going to make the tower sort of a creamy colour. You can choose any colour you want because we're going to change all of them eventually. Yeah, something like that. That'll do. Actually, I'd prefer a grey. I'm going to stay in the sort of white range, and I'm going to just make it dark grey. And I'm going to make the roof, right click on the roof, we're in object mode. I'm going to make that, this is roof. I'll make this sort of a maroony colour. A bit darker. Yeah, colours. We'll put textures to it later. Alright, that'll do with that one. And I'm going to make my ground plane green. New ground. Now I just double clicked on that name, but you can double click there, you can double click there. It's really easy to rename stuff. Everywhere you see a name, generally you can double click on it. I'll make it green. Dark green. Bring the light down a bit. Alright, that'll do there. So they're the only materials they've got. They'll instantly be assigned. We don't have to worry about assigning those. And that's our shot. I'm just going to zoom in a bit. No, I'm not. I'm going to zoom out a bit. I'm going to make my floor plane a bit bigger. So right click on that, S to scale. So I don't have edges of floor plane in my shot. And I'm going to add a sun lamp. Now, we can have our cursor anywhere at all. I'm going to put it where I think the sun should go. I'm going to put it up there. If you've still got your lamp in there and haven't deleted it, you could probably delete it or use it, but I'm going to go sun lamp over here and create. And the sun lamp points straight down, but I want to cast a shadow across this one because I like shadows. So I'm going to rotate the direction of the light to face that way. So shadows will cast across there. And what else do I want to do? I think that's about it. So let's go. Oh, actually, no, we do want to change some stuff. Here in our camera, this is our render settings. I want to change my samples. Now, this is where we get technical because we're going to render with CPU this time, but eventually I'm going to show you how to render with a GPU. Stay CPU for the moment because the GPU is faster, but the CPU will work with anything. That's what we use at school. sometimes your GPU is your graphics processor. This is your computer processor. So everyone's got a computer processor. If you use the computer processor, it will generally work without any problems. We're going to scroll down here. Sampling. This is where we choose the quality of our picture. So I'm going to open up sampling. Remember, I'm in my little camera. And here in these settings, this is our render settings. This is the number that we want to set to be high enough to make a clear picture, but low enough so that it doesn't take too much time. Now I'm going to show you 10 on my computer. We'll show you 10. If I go F12 and I can just click up on there, I can click render at the top here. I'm going to go back down to sampling. In sampling, I'm going to do 10 samples, but I'm going to press F12 because it's nice and quick. Alright, there she is. Now something I'm noticing, I like sharper shadows, but I'm not going to be upset about that. We're going to fix this right up, but see all these little dots here? I think we can clear this picture up. If I zoom in, we get all this noise. It's called noise, and we can clear that right up because we can change our render. Just going to click on that one to bring up the number, and I'm going to change it to 100. Press enter. Now, mouse over here, F12. Takes a little longer, but I think you'll notice that it is bit clearer. Got my rims. Also, really important, I hope you watch this before I start doing the rendering, cycles render. Before you put the materials on, you want cycles render, always cycles render. I don't know about Blender render, so I always have cycles render on. I'm pretty sure we were set up for cycles render. I'm pretty sure we're okay. But yeah, don't change off that one. Alright, so that's weekend project done. She was a long one, but she was a good one. If you don't do it, don't feel bad, because we can always do it any time. Alright, enjoy yourself, Connor. I'll catch up, mate. Oh, sorry. Just to make sure, you can save your picture. So, once you've done a render, go down here to image, and go save image, or save as image. And I'm going to save this one. And I'm going to save this because I know where my E drive is in my tutorial folders. I'm actually running this from one of my drives. Have a chat to somebody about which drive you should best save in. Probably want to save it to your pen disk. Might be J, depends. Yeah, or save it where you opened it. Yeah, just save it there. You can call it something. First render. First render. Or anything at all. And click over here to save as image. Alright, good stuff. And what else was I going to say that I forgot to say? That's save image. I think I'm okay. Remember to save your file. Save as. I should save. Remember to save your file to the place that you're working, and I will see you Monday, I think. Okay.